everybody. We've got head coach Robbie Peterson here. Nate, we'll start with you.
Hi, Nate Hayes of Merchant Cricket. Kyle Phillip was drafted by the team. He was suspended by the ICC for his action. I haven't seen him in the squad here. Does MI New York have any? Do you feel like they have any responsibility to help correct his action?
Of course, any player that's drafted, you want to make sure there's a duty of care to that individual. He's not with us currently. I'm pretty sure that the ICC are busy trying to find ways to, remedy his situations. But of course, we'd have loved to have him part of the tournament. He'd have added a lot to our squad. But unfortunately, that's not the case, and he's got some work to do to get himself back. But we'll be in touch with him, and we'll have a level of care for Kyle, and hope he gets through it.
Hi, Robin. Lucky Waves from It's Called Cricket. Now that the first leg in Dallas is complete, what are some of the things you anticipate being different now that we're shifting to more stuff?
Well, a lot of the tournaments sort of been an unknown for everybody, really. We're just interested to know about the surface as cricketers. We want to know what we're playing on and what we're going to get, because that has an impact on how we select our teams and going forward and how we try and strategize. So we believe it's a good surface to play cricket on, which is what all cricketers want in T20 cricket, something that's consistent and a bit of pace. So that's what we believe is on offer. So we'll only really know once we get there. But it's been a great experience playing in Dallas so far, and I'm pretty sure that in Morrisville it'll be the same.
So, what's the message out there for the top? You've invested so much in your top three who are your domestics. You've given them responsibility. So, what's the message out there to them as a coach who kind of punched below their weight in these three games?
I think we just got to keep believing in them. We're asking players to come play in front of fans and that crowd and that pressure for the first time, in their careers. So it's just like we have a duty of care to Carl, the question I just got asked. We also have a duty of care to help these players develop and hopefully blossom and become something special for, MI New York going forward. So, we try and spend a lot of time with them behind the scenes. A lot of the players, are very fond of the American boys and try and interact and give them, a little bit of knowledge. But until you've actually gone out there and done it, and experienced it and come up with solutions, I think a lot of these games that they're playing, they'll have reference points. A guy like Cheyenne Young here today, he stuck to script. He played beautifully, and over time with experience, he'll add more strokes to his game, so he'll be able to be a lot more aggressive and time his run a lot sooner. So, but immensely proud of him. He stuck to his guns, and he'd be a better cricketer for it after that night.
Twofold question. One, kind of layering onto what Smith Patel just asked about balancing the objectives of helping to promote local players with trying to put the best team on the field to win. Nasish Kenjige is on the lineup tonight. I know he's kind of in a similar role as Rashid Khan as a spinner.
Yeah.
But after a night he had last night, what went into the decision to leave him out? Was it purely you saw it as a like for like in terms of a spin role, not obviously the same type of spinner as Rashid, but what went into leaving him out? And when you leave somebody out like that, does it go into, is there a discussion about just win-win-win in an event like this, or do you have discussions about trying to put the local guys on a platform to succeed and help grow a league like this in its first year?
Yeah, I think firstly you got to try and win the game. Rashid coming back, he's a world-class spinner. You can't really leave a player of his ilk out ever. So Nosh bowled beautifully. He's a developing bowler, someone that we are very proud of his performances last night. He's been fantastic around the group. He's pretty much a student of the game. He understands that maybe he missed out tonight because of strategy. We brought in Steven, another extra left-handed batter for their leg spinning options and to counter, Mitch Santner. And of course, Steven also bowls a few off spinners, which worked tonight. He was able to control You know, a lot of their top players, you know, with his bowling, which is what we picked him to do. So, and as a left-hand batting option. So, just a tactical change for strategy. Explain to Nosh, he understands. Before this tournament, we did have the discussion that you may perform, but the next game, you know, we may need to have a tactical shift is what we needed today. And as long as the player understands that, he's on board, and you know, he understands that he's got a massive role to play for this franchise going forward.
Again, just a quick follow-up. Big picture-wise, yeah, how much discussions do you have as a collective management group in terms of win first versus how much stock do you put into seeing what role MI New York has to play in terms of promoting local talent and as a platform because it's an American league specifically?
I think you have to win. I think you know, you have to win and develop at the same time. It's not either or. You know, that's the job we're here to do. You know, win players from the associate nations, the USA national team, the players that I mean, they need to become used to and ingrained in the pressure of having to perform. You know, that's part of their development in this league. So yes, we do have a keen development angle, but at the top of our mind is always trying to win, and you can earn a lot from winning.
More on the Jahangir innings. Yes, that's going to go a long way with him. I believe he's been a great knock coming into this, coming from Zimbabwe. He's in very good form. How much, with the way that your team is set up, it appears that your domestics will have to bat at the top of the order. How much did tonight's innings go towards reinforcing the team plan? How much did his innings tonight go towards that?
Yeah, I mean, he stuck to his script. You know, he did what he could. He just ran out of steam when he was trying to find the fence. But like I said, you know, he stuck to the game plan in his blueprint. So, you know, we can't fault him there. Like I said, these players will start creating reference points under pressure in big games, in a big rivalry like the Super Kings and, you know, franchise and Mumbai Indians, New York. So, you know, we're immensely proud of him. You know, he showed a bit of character, which is what you want from your cricketers in your squad that you're trying to develop. So we're immensely proud. I'm pretty sure this innings tonight will stand him in good stead going forward.
Robbie, you're probably aware of the stat that it's all about one game. The team batting first has won every game. But today it felt like the platform was set and it was going pretty well until a few unlucky wickets went your way. What was the message you gave your batsmen going into the second innings?
I think at one point we were pretty confident that we were controlling the game. We felt we were one big over, maybe even two of totally controlling that innings. But you know, the Chennai, they've got experienced bowlers. They've got a smart operator in the captain, knows how to shift his bowling attack around. Obviously, the run out of Nicky Puran and then soon to follow Kyron Pollard. I mean, that just rips the heart out of any run chase. So you know, credit to the Super Kings. They played a very basic game plan and stuck to it, and built the pressure, and until, you know, it was relentless, and they got over the line tonight. So yeah, it's pretty hard losing Polly first ball when he's one of your major power players, and you fit your game plan around players like him.
So, you know, MI is known to back its player, sometimes for almost the entire duration of the season. So what's your blueprint in assessing how long of a rope a batter should get?
Well, it's a short tournament, you know. Ultimately, you want to give people confidence, and you know, the way you give people confidence is about giving them opportunity and building them, and giving them, you know, sound advice and sound game plans, and just being there to support. So it is a short tournament. Sometimes you have to make changes. It's a pity it's not a 10-game tournament. You know, that would have been totally different, and you can run for players for a lot longer. But you know, when you're sort of pushed in a corner like us at the moment, you know, we have to maybe look at different combinations that can work for our team and service our needs of trying to qualify.
Just a small follow-up. So Nicholas Puran's departure is imminent, probably for West Indies duty. Who can we expect to take up the gloves for My New York?
Well, we've got Manang Patel that does take the gloves, and Cheyenne's also a keeper, so they are backup keepers in the squad at the moment. So we'll decide on that. They've both been training behind the scenes, so it's just about either or depending on selection at the moment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
No problem.
Thanks, Robbie. This is the coach.
Albie, Morkel, CSK system.
Hi.
You guys ready? All set? You want to start? Yep, good.
Yeah, tonight you had Daniel Sams in the team. He did quite well. Adding a lefty to your fast bowling attack seemed like a really great idea, obviously. Can you talk about how much balance it brings to the bowling attack?
Samsy arrived last night from England where he played in the Vitality Blast, and I think his selection was forced by the injury of Gerald Kutsia. He got hit in the hand yesterday. So, to get him into the tournament quickly like that and with a performance like that is obviously very satisfying. He is a specialist white ball or T20 cricket player around the world now, so you would expect guys like that to come in and make a difference in the game like he showed tonight. And with that variation, like you said, it gives us a lot more options in our bowling attack.
Akhilesh from Iscall Cricket. Albie, I believe now that the Super Kings franchise has multiple teams in multiple leagues across the world, how do you think the continuity of some players playing for the same franchise in different leagues can improve a player's performance?
Look, that gives them a little bit of confidence in a setup that they play in. As a player, you get confidence through things that stays the same, and if you can play for the same franchise, Stephen Fleming is the coach in most of the tournaments. As a player, that will give you confidence in terms of security and stuff like that. And like you said, with the Super Kings planting now in America, we've got in South Africa and India. I'm not sure where the next team will be, but you're trying to keep that core together. That also creates a good team environment where guys in the past, if you have a successful franchise size like the Super Kings, if you can keep those guys together, it forms a winning culture.
Hi, Albie. Smith Patel from Quick Buzz. So we've seen that Sami Aslam, the ex-Pakistan opening batsman, has been out of the playing 11 for 3 games now. So what do you reckon is keeping him out, and what does he need to do? Maybe not today, but in the off season to get him back in the playing 11.
Look, I don't think he has to do anything. He's been very close to selection. We felt that Lahiru in the first 2 games, maybe had a little bit more flair with the new ball, and today the option to go with Chetty was just a gut feel. So I'm sure, going down the line, it's a short tournament, like Robbie also said, you want to have a look at all the players, which is not always possible. But, he's a very compact player. In the nets I've seen, he knows his game. And I'm sure he'll get his opportunity still in this tournament.
Albie, Peter Dalton with Cricket Film.
Hey,
So,
Peter.
Sammy Aslam and Cameron Stevenson are 2 relatively high picks in the domestic draft. Sammy hasn't played. Cameron Stevenson, I understand, has been ruled out.
Yeah, he's injured.
He's injured, yeah.
Yeah.
So when you have 2 high draft picks that don't pan out in this draft, where you have to pick 5 players, domestic players in the starting 11, how does that impact your overall strategy before the tournament and now how you've had to adapt?
Yeah, it's pretty difficult. I mean, I was at the combine in March, and what you saw there with them playing in those games and what you see in here, differs a little bit. I think training opportunities for guys might be something to look at in the future. You can sort of hit the ground running coming into a tournament like this, and I think with them, rubbing shoulders with the biggest names in cricket, that's going to give him sort of that line in the sand what they need to be successful at this level. Cameron's injury, obviously, with the local boys, was a hard one to swallow. We sort of backed on a few American or local players as seamers, and with his departure, definitely left the gap. But Zia got the opportunity tonight, and I thought he bowled really nicely. So, that's a good one for us.
Last one.
Mohammed Mohsin on your team, he was taken in the
What?
last round, basically the most recent round of the draft, and he's currently leading the competition in wickets. You also drafted another leg spinner in Zia. Two of them are both leg spinners, but they bowl differently. Was the decision to go with Mohammed Mohsin because of the variety brought to your bowling attack as opposed to Zia? Or and also, did you expect him to perform it the way he has?
Look, to be honest, Zia was obviously picked up in the main draft as a leg spinner. Mohsin was picked up, I think, as a wild card a couple of weeks ago. He unfortunately was injured he got injured during the combine, so we didn't get a good look at him. But he was highly spoken of by a few players and people that know him. So the decision was made to go with him. To have a wrist spinner in your side is a bonus. And wow, has he performed in the 3 games we played so far? I think he surprised everyone, including myself. Our first training week, he arrived with a stiff back, so it was also, it was a bit of an unknown, and seems like, that one fantastic performance in the first game has helped his injury along nicely as well, and I'm looking forward to him to put in a few more performances.
Thank you.
Thank you, Albie.
Cheers.